What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Underdog Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Nolan Skeen, alongside Antonio Fiore, Sal Estrina. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Great.
Not too bad.
It's been a while.
Yeah, no, we're finally watching sports.
Right
now, we're watching sports.
How different is it?
It is different. Everything just feels like March Madness to me, and then minus the fans. It just feels like a tournament. Like, it just feels like one big tournament.
Not a hot take,
It's
but
like a big AAU tournament.
Since the restart, MLB is quite easily the worst sport to watch without fans. And
yeah, it's tough.
I can almost not get through even a couple innings of a Red Sox. Well, then again, it's the Red Sox, but it is hard to get through almost any MLB game right now. I think NBA and NHL are killing it right now. I think they both did a very good job, not only with the bubble, but just in general with the tournament and everything else that they've done to set everything up. I'm very impressed with both of them.
Yeah, I mean, when it talks to just like the watching value, yeah, hockey and basketball have been extremely exciting to watch. Baseball without fans has really been rough. But the thing is you know, they put these crowd noises in, like all three of them. But the NBA and the NHL, you can hear it so much more. It actually sounds like, there's a game going on. That's what I love about baseball right now. You can hear these guys chirp each other, and you can hear what they're saying out in the field and in the dugouts. And it's awesome.
I love in the NBA, there'll be like a foul, and you'll hear like the mute basically, so some dude just like swore a bunch of times.
Dude, they should have it like. Do you know how much fun that would be to hear?
Yeah,
they should have like.
They should just have
Bro,
it. They
have
should
it.
just
Have it like music. Have like an explicit channel for the sports, and then have the blocked out channel.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
All for it.
Paul George drives the lane, that's foul. Fuck. Like, that's literally what they scream every time, and then they just have to the guy sits back there and just mutes it just constantly. Like, I don't know. That's just funny.
That guy's probably had the best job in the world. The mute guy. Holy shit.
Do you know how focused he has to be? Like, that's
the most
laser focused.
Like, he probably has just big ass headphones on, and he's just got to listen to it full blast. He's deaf after he can't hear.
Now, do it now.
My God.
What do we want to start with? I honestly want to start with NBA.
Let's start with NBA.
Wow.
How are we looking?
My Houston Rockets have been playing pretty good since the restart.
Your Houston Rockets.
I've been saying that they're a threat, and you want to sit here and say that they are no threat to anybody in any way, shape, or form. But
no threat to any of the conference championship contending teams.
I think
still not.
I think they can beat anyone in the West, but the Clippers. They cannot beat the Clippers in a 7-game series. As of right now, that is my opinion. I think they can beat the Lakers only because of how bad the Lakers shoot the ball. If the Rockets go out and make 15 or 23s a game,
they're not going to do that in a 7-game series, though. Just there's absolutely no way. Because this is what I know. It's always going to come up with the Rockets every time. Is if they make their shots. Yeah, when they make their shots, they end up winning.
I think it's
still 120.
I think it's a whole different game in the bubble because
it is a whole different game in the bubble.
James Harden does not have that pressure and anxiety on him from all the fans screaming at him. It is just him playing basketball, and it's like open gym. And at that point, that is more conducive to offense, I feel like, in the NBA. And I think that really helps the Rockets. I think the Rockets are the biggest beneficiary of this.
They still have absolutely no rim protection, though, and that's just not gonna.
That's not
gonna get you to the championship.
They don't care about.
Yeah,
that.
and the fact that they don't care is why.
Well, they beat Milwaukee.
That's why Mike D'Antoni needs to go from that team.
They beat Milwaukee without any paint protection the other night.
Teams beat each other all the time during the regular season. I'm not too concerned with that. The
Nets beat.
Yeah, Milwaukee also just lost to the Nets.
Giannis and Chris Middleton didn't play in the second half. And they also made a record 3.
That shows you how much they care about playing.
They were playing for the number 1 seed still. At that point, they were still playing hard.
They know that they're getting the number 1 seed.
The Rockets still, if you look at points allowed per game in the NBA, the Rockets allow the 8th most in the league. And you look at the teams that are in that area.
Argument for the Rockets has nothing to do with their defense. It is the simple fact that they shoot 50 to 63s a game.
Yeah, and that's not good.
No, it's not.
If they make their shots, it is good.
Yes, but they're just not going to do that in a 7-game series against a team like the Lakers, Clippers,
They'll
Nuggets.
do it one or two games.
Even the first round, I'm not too confident in because I keep reminding myself that they're in the 6th seed right now. Right now, that's playing either the Nuggets, who can score at just as high of a volume as the Rockets, or the Clippers. They're not going to beat those two teams in the first round.
They're not. They're not beating the Clippers.
They're not beating the Clippers.
You're going to hate me for saying this again, and I hate to bring this team up again when it comes to the Rockets, but the Jazz are one of the 3 best defensive teams in the league.
The Jazz would literally poop all over. The Rockets would literally poop all over.
And one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league.
Poop all
That's
over them.
a 7-game series
Poop
to me.
all over them.
I just...
4.
It
Sweep.
baffles me because you
Sweep.
say if you make your shots, that's just not going to happen.
They don't even
over
need
a
to make
course
shots
of
against the
7
Jazz.
games.
The Jazz are that bad on offense that they wouldn't be able to keep up. They have 2 people that can score at will, and
Bogdan isn't there. That sucks.
that is a huge problem. That is a huge problem for them. But that is half their offense. The other half is Joe Ingles or Donovan Mitchell bringing the
But
ball
right
up the
now, it's
court.
not even looking like that's going to be the first round matchup. It's looking like it's either going to be the Rockets.
If they play the Clippers,
or
they're not winning,
or
obviously.
Rockets Nuggets. They're not going to beat the Nuggets either. They can't stop shit against the Nuggets. They're going to allow. Yeah, the Rockets, if they make their
Is
shots.
Jokic running up and down the court with that team? Because he's going to be gassed after that.
Oh no, but they just have so many different ways that they can score. They can shoot on you, or they can play inside, and they play good defense too.
I feel like this podcast is just us arguing about the Rockets when we talk about the NBA. That's all it is. I'm just so passionate about the Rockets.
There's just so many more complete
I don't know
teams
why
in
you
that
are.
conference.
Why are you?
I just think they're good. You got Russell Westbrook and James Harden playing together, who have
They
played
haven't done
together
shit.
before.
They haven't done shit.
This is their first year together. They love each other. They are going to literally dog people in the playoffs.
I think
They're not.
them just being a 6 seed just shows like they just always come up short. Like,
They
with
always
that
do.
sort of formula, like what you're saying, make your shots. They should definitely be better than a 6 seed.
They should be, and like with the Westbrook thing, they're still in a complete season.
What is that?
In a complete season, this Rockets team would have been in between 50 and 55 wins. What if they've been for the last 5 years in between 50 and 55 wins with or without Westbrook? That's not that huge of a difference. If anything, in the playoffs, that hurts you a little bit more. Because Westbrook hasn't made it past.
I don't even think they stand a
Westbrook.
chance against the Lakers.
No, they don't.
In the playoffs,
They're too
LeBron is
big,
a different
dude.
animal. Like
You're too focused on that. You're way too focused on too big. Focus on the simple fact that even though you can not grab a rebound, you can still score points.
I'm confident in the Lakers' ability to score with the Rockets.
130 points and not grab rebounds. That is a fact.
It can happen,
We're
and
going
you can
back to the fact
you
that,
can
like-
win a couple games like that, but you're not winning 4 out of 7 games like that. There's
they're
just
modeling
no
it off
way.
Of like the way the Warriors were in 2016.
They don't make
2015.
adjustments either.
But the Warriors were a good defensive team.
Exactly,
Like, people
and they
forget
make
about that.
adjustments. I don't see the Rockets make adjustments ever when I'm
Yeah,
watching.
the Rockets
if
are
they're
just
shooting,
like, yeah, James, go
yeah,
get
no,
40 for us.
If they're
please.
shooting bad, that's it. They're
if he's
done.
shooting
They're
bad,
not
done.
winning.
And he checks out of the game too mentally. He checks out of the game if he starts the game like 1 for 11,
Okay.
he's checked out.
That's why I think the bubble helps him, because I don't think he gets in that zone where he just starts bricking shots. Like, yes,
It'll happen, though. It's not like he's
no,
gonna make
it's not.
everything.
No, I understand. I completely understand. I'm not saying he's gonna have a great night every night. I think the no fans helps them so much. I think that takes so much pressure off that team, and they are more likely to make open shots. That is my synopsis of that team. They played really good against Dallas the other night. They play the Lakers tonight, regardless of whether LeBron is there or not. And they beat Milwaukee, too.
They did beat Milwaukee.
So it's like, since the restart, they've been playing pretty good. They barely lost to the Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers have been playing pretty good. Like, I just think inside the bubble, the Rockets have a better chance than pre-COVID. And I already like them pre-COVID. So I think this enhances it. I think the Clippers definitely can beat them. I think other than that, I think they easily have a chance against anyone.
Okay.
I'm on Antonio's side. I think that they're just. It's the same old thing with the Rockets. It's just the same thing.
I
always the same
see
thing.
it every
Like,
year.
It's just like when you look at the Patriots and you look at like they're like Super Bowl. Like it's just every year you're just like, wow, they can go to the Super Bowl. It's the same thing with the Rockets. Every year I'm like, wow, they might get bumped in the first round. Like they'll win a bunch of games, but they're getting bumped in the first round, and they're gonna be a huge disappointment. With that coach, D'Antoni, like he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He doesn't know how to fucking coach a basketball team. He's just gotten lucky.
I don't know
with
how
the talent
he's
that
still
he
in the
has.
league. Dude. Yeah, he's always gotten very lucky with the talent that he has.
Dude.
And
good
what did he
pla-
do when
good
he was in New
players will
York?
never break through
Blue.
bad coaching. Bad coaching trumps everything. If he gets in the way even a little bit, they're doomed.
So I think a huge storyline in the Western Conference is seeding. I think so many of those Western Conference series matters on where it falls, because a team like Denver wants to play, like, hypothetically they want to play Houston or like Utah. They don't want to play Dallas. A team like Dallas wants to play Utah. It's like, it's stuff like that. Like, the Lakers don't want to play a team that shoots really well, but the Lakers will play a team that's like kind of big. So like if they played Utah, they would love that matchup. It's
it's looking right now. Oklahoma City and Houston are kind of like
they don't want to play Oklahoma City because they cannot defend point guards.
Oklahoma City and Houston are kind of going back and forth in between that 6 and 5 spot right now. So that's and you know what? Another thing, like when talking about how you've been very impressed by the Rockets these first few games. How about the Suns?
I knew you were just going to say that.
Oh, my goodness.
They have looked great since the restart. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, they looked fantastic at the beginning of the year. I don't know that they get the A seed, but if they get the A seed, I don't want to play a team that's hot right now. Why would you want to, like,
no.
They're 4-0, right?
Yes, they are. But the Lakers got the 1 seed locked up.
Right, so I'm saying if they...
Yeah, I'm not saying, like, teams like the Blazers or the Suns have a shot to beat the Lakers because they just don't have a guy that they can put on LeBron. But those are teams that could steal a game or two from them.
Who gives the Lakers more of a problem, the Blazers or the Suns? Or Memphis, but I just think Memphis is done at this point.
I think the Blazers, to me.
Blazers don't have a guy that's got a chance to stop LeBron, though.
If you're the Suns, who do you put on LeBron, though?
Yeah, the Suns don't
neither
either.
of those teams have a shot to beat the Lakers,
either.
but I think the Suns are better than the Blazers.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough question.
Those are really...
That's a tough one.
Those are really... I don't even know how confident I am in that.
Because you're a Lakers fan, obviously.
Yeah, I don't...
Because I'm looking at it through like
either of
like
those teams. I'm not like scared of
history though. Like Dame is unstoppable in like the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like and like we've seen that. I don't know what Devin Booker is going to be like in the playoffs.
Yes, but that's what I'm so curious about. He seems
I'm
like
curious
he
about it.
seems
I
like
would
a
love
guy
to
that's
see
got this word keeps getting thrown around like in the past like week in
ever
sports.
a time for a
Booker's
white
got
horse
dog
team,
in him.
yeah,
I feel like
if there's ever a time for a white horse team to just rise above, like it's this year. This year for it to happen?
How many years have we been like waiting for like the Suns to like kind of finally come out of their shell too? Because Booker's been averaging 25 to 28 points for the last 3-4 years.
I talked to
and now we got Ayton in the league now, or Ayton on the Suns. They're just maybe even next year it feels like that's going to be the year that they boom. But there's so many West teams that have a shot to boom right now.
I talked to multiple people about this. Imagine if they drafted Luka instead of Ayton when it was their pick. Imagine Luka and Booker in the backcourt together. That would be a problem.
Ayton's not a bad pick. I think
Ayton is not
really
a bad
good.
pick at all. He just really I feel like he's so raw. He came in so raw. Like he needed so much like development, and over time he is going to get that. But once he is like fully
he's
developed,
still averaging like
18 and 10?
Yeah, 17, 18 points a game. That's first year.
I feel like
I'm good with that.
Realistically, he could be like a 22 and 12.
Yeah, he can be. He's huge, dude. Josh Jackson was obviously a bust for them. I'd never understood any of the hype behind that guy coming into the draft.
Kansas or Kentucky?
He was from Kansas. When he was on Kansas, I thought of him as the big guy that looked like Frank Mason but wasn't as good. And then like they would talk about him like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be a top 5 pick. I'm like, are you kidding me? What does he do?
They really did not hit on that.
They whiffed on that.
And
that sucks.
The other pick I want to mention was Michael Porter.
Oh my God!
How do that many teams pass on Michael Porter when people like? Yes, you have to wait a little while, but like Michael Porter,
they won that draft. They got Bull and Porter in the same draft.
They took Michael Porter in the first round, and then they took Bull in the second round. What a draft!
Genius.
A draft!
Yeah, holy shit, they're doing something right over there.
How do you? All right, ready? In like 2 years, how do you stop a lineup with Jamal Murray, Porter, Jokic, Bull, and any random other small forward or whoever you want to put in with them? But how do you stop
Paul
that
Millsap's
lineup?
still there.
Who?
Paul Millsap is
I
still
forgot
there.
about that. Paul Millsap is good. They could even
feed Millsap.
Feed Millsap.
They
could even. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter at that point. Like, how do you stop Bull and Jokic at the same time? That is just. That like
Those
hurts.
are two giant human beings.
That hurts my head trying to think about. Like
that's what I'm saying. They're gonna be good for a long time.
And it's like Bull literally just like brings the ball up the court and pulls threes and like they go in. It's like
he can do that at 7-2. It's just
that is not fair,
dude. I've been following that guy since I was about 15 too, because he's the same age as me. I'd see him like 6'10", Manute Bol's son, 6'10" sophomore. I'm like, this guy's insane. He's like Kevin Durant, but he's gonna be bigger.
He's a cheat code.
Yeah, when I saw the highlights of him pulling up and like fading away threes, and I'm like, dude, how does he do that? But, like the way he is, like, how the fuck do you do that?
When he was healthy for Oregon too, he was like
No, I love when
unstoppable.
I love when a team like, especially it's easy with them because they have sort of a fan base that is patient.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Imagine if that was LA, like, and they were going.
No,
through,
then
like,
they
a
would be
week.
screaming at him to come back, and then he would come back too early, and then he would hurt himself again. Like,
Yeah,
they both got put in the right situation for sure. Like,
Well, I'm saying like that they're building for the future, and like the fans recognize that, and they're not destroying their team, saying like, why aren't we winning right now? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? Whereas in LA, if they say they didn't get LeBron or AD and they were still rebuilding, like they were getting destroyed before LeBron and AD went there. Why aren't we winning now? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? They got a gift from the heavens, which was LeBron, because LeBron is like on LA, like, and then AD is like on LeBron, and like it's just happened to work out that way where you instantly get a rebuild. So they didn't go through the pain of
trying to draft and
Yeah,
develop.
trying to
and-
draft.
They tried to,
develop.
and they sucked at it. Their personnel was garbage. They had bad coaching, and they had
And now
bad front
like
office.
Denver's doing it from the ground up.
Yeah.
They have been for a while.
I mean,
So it's gonna pay off in a couple
Every
years.
single one of those players except for Paul Millsap is drafted by Denver, and like they have just the last like 5 years.
And it's really
good.
only gonna go up from there, and it's gonna work out for him in the next few years.
Eastern Conference. It's kind of. I'm not gonna say. The
I
matchups.
wanna
Real,
think
A team
about
from
what
the
do
West is going to win.
What do you
so.
think about the Zion minutes restriction here?
Oh, it's the most.
it's definitely frustrating, but at the same time, it's like, all right.
That was half of my excitement with the restart. Is
So
getting
were
to see him
they
play.
were they restricting his minutes because of the knee thing, or is it because he had
He's
to leave
overweight
and then come back?
Well, he's overweight, and because I think I think it's a combination of all three things. I think it's his knee. I think he's overweight, and I think it was leaving and coming back. I think all three of those things factored into it. And I don't know what he was doing all quarantine, but he definitely was not playing basketball.
He did get fatter. He
Well,
did get
yeah,
fatter.
and I'm not even saying
they
that
had
to
him
be.
lean down,
I'm
and then
not-
he got bigger.
Well, I'm
again.
not even saying that to be a dick either, but he's just not in shape for basketball. Like
I mean, I don't even think like it matters though. Really, I don't think it like. He's still dominant.
Yeah,
Like, what
he
did
scored.
you say? He played
Oh,
24 minutes.
He
and
played
21
21
points.
minutes today and scored
he could
24.
gain 50 more pounds and still poop on
He
everyone.
could, he could literally be the fattest person.
It's-
and still be. Really
They just
good at basketball.
it's obvious that they just don't want to make the playoffs because they're not playing him. Also, at the same time,
It
Why-
sucks
all
that
right,
they're
ready?
giving up.
the
though.
the frustrating thing is that like when they were talking about the restart and they had it set and planned, the Pelicans were like building it up like, yeah, we're gonna have Zion playing like minutes and we're not gonna restrict him.
then
Like
they
they're
did
bragging
restrict
about that
him.
shit, and then we bring him back here and I look at the first game, I'm like, oh, he played 15 minutes. Look at the second game. Oh, he played 12 minutes.
Realistically, why would you risk getting him hurt? Like, there's no reason to send him out there in like these games.
Are they
Like,
gonna play his whole
But
career
it's
like that though?
Yeah, like is he gonna
No,
every
but-
year he's
but-
gonna be restricted on minutes?
I'm
Like,
just saying for this year in general, it's like, all right, there's I'm not saying this, but in general, people are saying like, all right, there's going to be an asterisk if you even win the title. The Pelicans are probably not winning the title, and they still have to win a certain amount of games to even get to a play-in game to get to the playoffs. So it's like at that point, if Zion's not ready, why force the issue? Why?
I think the issue.
Yeah, no,
is
it makes
Zion
complete
is ready.
sense. But I
think
I
Zion
want to
is
see him
ready.
play.
It's
I
so
want to see him
frustrating.
play
It's so
bad.
frustrating.
Yeah.
But they're looking at 5 years. They're not looking at this year. They never expected when they drafted Zion to like really contend this year. They're looking 2, 3, and 4 years down the road. And I think at that point, that is the smart way to do it with him. They just got to start building around him. And I don't know.
My feeling is that Zion is ready though, and that they're just being too cautious.
I would say no because of how overweight he was when he came back. It's like if you're that ready, then you should be ready. It's like LeBron wasn't out of shape. Kawhi wasn't out of shape. Paul George is not out of shape. Giannis is not out of shape.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, he's not asking to be taken out of these games. I don't think, right?
but what the coaches have,
Is he like really that out of shape?
it's not like he's begging
really
to come
that
out of
shape.
No, he's pretty out of shape. Yeah, he's not in
just because he
basketball
looks
shape.
a little bigger doesn't mean he's out of shape. Though.
They literally said before the games his conditioning was not good. Like the coaches said that. So if they're coming out in the media and saying that, like there's obviously a problem somewhere. And that
But what is not playing him going to do? It's not going to condition him anymore.
not playing him is going to prevent him from getting injured. That is the whole.
We got to get him conditioned, have him play real
This
minutes.
my whole thing is they don't care about this year at all. They
which
just
sucks.
Aw.
Because they were hyping it up. Like the problem with that I have is that, like what you said, they were hyping it up as if they were gonna.
The
take a
NBA
stab at
made the cutoff the Pelicans for a reason too.
They
were
Zion in the
desperate to get
playoffs.
Zion in the playoffs.
Like that's huge for the NBA. But from just the Pelicans standpoint, they were hyping it up like, oh, we're making a run at this thing. We got Zion, and then don't come out and just don't go for it and don't give a shit. Like that is such a middle finger to your fans. Like at least like be honest and say, hey, we're taking it cautious. Like we're still gonna play and try, but Zion's gonna be restricted. We need to look forward into just not this year, but whatever. Don't lie to your fans.
Even
like
play
that.
him restrict him, because full minutes for a player like that is going to be around like in between 34 and like 37 minutes a game. Even restrict him to like 20, 25. He's still going to drop 30.
You said he got 21 points in 24 minutes today, right?
He
Is that what
did.
you said? He was like 11 of what was the 11 of 13?
When
from
I
the
checked,
field?
he was 10 of 11.
Like he can shoot too. I don't think anyone like cares about that part of his game. He can fucking shoot.
it's not a problem with anything with Zion's play. It's literally just the fact that they are taking it easy and they
I'm just saying like no one gives him enough credit for shooting wise. Like
he's
he shoots
gonna
a pretty high percentage.
if he stays healthy, he's gonna be the best player in the league in 5 or 10. Not even in 5 years, in 3 years maybe.
Yeah.
I say two.
Yeah.
I say two.
There's
Because like if he really works hard this offseason, next year he could be a monster.
I just don't know if I trust his body, dude. I don't know.
If that's the case though, he's never gonna be good.
It's not like he'll never be good. It's he'll show flashes, then get hurt, and then show flashes, and then get hurt.
He'll
and
be
then,
a Derrick Rose.
yeah, literally, and like progressively. Just,
I think with bigger guys like that though, I don't think it's hurt, come back, be good, hurt again. I think it's hurt and then not be as good, and you're just average after that. For big guys,
I mean, that there is a track record of big men getting hurt and then obviously not being as good when they come back. So I understand that completely. Like,
and then
I don't
DeMarcus
know,
Cousins
it's
was
just-
having the
it'll
best
just
season
be
of his
so-
career when he got hurt.
it'll just be so sad if Zion's career just ends in injuries and sitting on the bench and not.
Yeah.
And it's only his first year, so we don't know that for a fact. But it's
That's
not.
what everyone's scared of.
Yeah, it's not looking good so far.
because they talk about it's like the way he walks and everything. It's like you can't.
They said
really-
that before the draft
You can't
too.
fix
yeah,
that though. Like
it's just
that's
how he is.
How he is. So it's a huge risk, but the reward is so fat. Like it's so fat. You could have one of the best players after. Like he might be the one to carry the torch after LeBron's gone. Just like he was the one that carried the torch, like when Kobe was phased out, and Kobe was when Jordan left.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the next torch. You know what I mean? I think Zion was that guy, and if he does get hurt, it's a shame.
Then Luke is the guy.
That
Yeah.
Luke is the guy.
There's too many teams out
I
there.
like that.
There's really
Yeah,
too,
it's growing now where it's like there are so many good
there's
players in the
too
NBA.
many teams out west. Like we're talking like next year, like 14 of 15 teams that got shots to get a top
So
five
they
seed.
really got to go best 16. I don't know why they wouldn't. And I know,
Dude.
if you're the Eastern Conference teams, you would never
Because
agree to
like
that.
you talk about
They'd be like, "Aw."
these teams that are currently like amazing, like championship contenders in the West, they're still going to be good for the next 3-4 years at that level. And then we have these other teams that are in the bottom half of the playoff picture and just outside of the playoffs that look like they're going to be conference championship contenders booming within the next 5 years.
Sun should be
it's
better.
ridiculous.
Sun should be better
the
next
Suns,
year.
Dallas, Memphis, New Orleans,
Warriors.
Kings.
We're afraid about the
Warriors are back.
The Spurs are good every year, regardless. Not like good, but they have a system, and it's like they're there. Like the Spurs will give you a hard game. Like
Yeah.
every team in the Western Conference can make
It's-
the playoffs.
It's just
The
that.
King-
It's
the Kings
I'm
are
done with
working shit
with
out.
the Timberwolves, by the way. I'm all set.
Timberwolves. Yeah,
I'm
all
good.
set. I'm all set.
I said 14 out of the 15
They're
teams,
done.
and
They're
that
done.
was the 15th team.
Who's that team you just said? I've never heard of them before. Who I don't know who the Timberwolves are. Are they new?
I think.
Are they an expansion franchise?
They might as well be.
Karl Anthony Towns is the only good thing, and he's kind of soft.
Yeah, we talk about this. Like, does he even play basketball?
No, he just
He doesn't. No, he doesn't. So let's go to the East now. What do we like in the East? I like the
no
Celtics.
Not
no
much.
team has impressed me so far. Like the Celtics lost to the Heat the other night, didn't really look that good. Like Milwaukee lost to Houston, did not look that good in that game. Like
I guess
the East-
Toronto's looked the best.
Toronto has looked the best since the restart for sure. They beat the Lakers. They won the other night against Orlando. They killed Orlando actually, but
Yeah, about like 30 something.
they've all looked like they've had their spurts. Like Boston's looked good for a little bit and then looked bad.
Yeah,
Toronto's looked really good, but they've had some bad moments. Like the Heat have looked good, but looked kind of bad at the same time.
I'm not big on the Heat with the whole bubble thing because they were such a good home team during the regular season. So that like maybe you thought they could win
2-3 home games.
Yeah.
The series.
They could, or even well, they were a 5 seed, so they could even if they got into a seed. I'm sorry, a series with the 76ers, like a 4-5 matchup. Which I think the Sixers
garbage.
Hold on, I think the Sixers are a 6 seed right now.
Yeah, they
But
are
even if they got
garbage.
like, I'm thinking, maybe they get to conference semifinals.
They're the Wish
but that's
brand
just
version
because
of
they
Houston.
had
Simmons has a dislocated knee.
Does he?
Just announced today.
Fuck.
They suck. They weren't going to do anything.
I mean,
They were only going to get to the conference semifinals because that's a shit conference.
That's another team that I don't understand why people hype them up as if they've done anything.
I liked them before Corona, but they just seem like they don't care since they came back. They really just don't.
They never seem like they care.
No.
Even before Corona, I could have made an argument. What? It was 2-2 a minute ago. Now it's 4-3.
St. Louis.
Yeah, it was literally the Golden Knights Blues game was 2-2, and now it's 4-3 5
It's not
minutes
the
later.
Golden Knights. Any team that the Golden Knights play, that shit happens.
That's
It's like
crazy.
5 goals in 2 minutes.
That just dumbfounded. It said that they scored another goal. I was just dumbfounded. I lost my train of thought. Oh, before Corona.
Yeah,
I,
Sixers.
I still think the Sixers were playing good. It's not like they had their games where they looked like the Sixers,
Yeah.
but then they had games.
With that roster, they can't not play
I don't know
good.
what looking like the Sixers is like, though. Like, what do you mean by looking like the Sixers?
I don't know. Ben Simmons doing Ben Simmons thing. Joel putting up 30 and 15. Like they had their games where they looked pretty good.
Ben Simmons doing Ben Simmons things. I don't for sure know what that means either.
18, 10, and 10.
8, 10, and 10.
Okay, Lonzo Ball.
That's Lonzo Ball.
That is Lonzo Ball.
No, I don't know. Like they were playing good.
Ben Simmons really is Lonzo Ball.
They were
by the way.
playing. Oh yeah. Well, Lonzo Ball is poor man Ben Simmons, basically.
Yeah, like a Wish version. Wish brand. You like that?
No, that was good.
Yeah.
No, they were playing mediocre before Corona, but now they're just playing terrible. That's what it really comes down to. I don't think they do anything. T.J. Warren is apparently the best player in the NBA now. I don't know
what
what.
they say. He's in the running for the bubble MVP.
Yeah,
100%.
I was
Him or
gonna say,
Booker.
we have these like things that we you see like posts on Instagram all the time, like who would win, face mask Kobe, untucked Kyrie. Well, now we have Bubble Warren, so people are gonna go to that now.
Bubble Warren.
Bubble Warren. I don't even know what he put up today. I know they played. I'm gonna go check that out.
I mean, yeah, it is.
He's
I think the
averaged
first game he had like
37 in the
53,
last
then he
3
had like
games or something.
30 something.
Yeah, he's averaged 37 in the last 3 games or something. I thought I saw that today. He's insane, dude.
Yeah, out east.
And then he came out and was like, "I'm worth more than just cash," because he got traded
For cash considerations from the Suns. He had 16 today against his former club.
We love a guy that has something to play for. We love that.
Love it.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
mean, out east, it's just a 3-team race right now.
Yeah, I'm not really
Toronto looks the best right now.
It can always change, and there's
It
a lot.
can.
There's a lot of basketball left to play.
It's with the
I
Bucks
still,
situation.
like, even though we're a few days in, like the rust is still coming off. Like they
It
didn't
is.
play for 3-4 months.
The Bucks looked really good today, and they looked really good against the Celtics. But they looked, it's 2 good teams playing each other, the Rockets and the Bucks. So that's, they lose that, whatever.
Yeah, if I didn't play for that amount of time,
but
I would be fucking rusty too.
I obviously love saying this, but that Bucks Celtics game was probably the most rated NBA game I have seen in quite some time.
Why was it rigged?
4.5 was the spread, and Giannis literally barreled over Marcus Smart in the lane. They went to video review for about 10 minutes and then overturned it, and then the Bucks.
Did you see Brad Stevens' reaction?
He was so livid it wasn't even funny. He was like, "You're kidding."
And you never see him like that either.
He gets like that only when they really make a mistake, and that was an atrocious call. Marcus Smart was not moving. Literally had both feet outside of the restricted area. Went to the monitor, waited about 10 minutes, and then decided, you know what, we're not going to foul. It says Giannis had 5.
They should let coaches go to the monitor. Like, what are you going to say as a ref when a coach goes, "Look, he's standing right there outside the restricted area, standing still"?
I think.
What is a ref going to say?
Not even. I think there should be microphones in the review center because I want to hear what they're saying. I don't want to
Yeah,
see.
but they don't want you to hear what they're saying.
Okay, why though?
Because they're like the spread's 4.5.
Thank you.
Like they said.
No,
like
thank
they-
you.
It's just a beam into Vegas. That's all it is.
It's
like,
just it.
they got Vegas on the phone.
It hurts. That game hurt me because I knew what the spread was, and I knew as soon as they went to review that they were overturning that. I knew the second they said review, I was like, they're not fouling Giannis out. There's no
even
chance.
the fact that they
Did you see him punch?
Were like,
Did you see him punch Tice 2 minutes before that play too?
I did.
He literally ran up and Tice was setting a screen, and he literally put his whole fist in Daniel Tice's
They
stomach.
didn't give a shit.
They blew. Listen, they blew the whistle. They blew the whistle dead and did not call a foul. And then they had a side out of bounds. What?
yeah, there was no reason for it to go out of for them to restart the.
There
play.
was no reason to blow the whistle at all unless you have to
But
call
they
a
were
foul.
like, oh wait, we can't call a foul. It's Giannis. We
Blow
can't
the
do
whistle,
that.
side out, no foul. What? Well, that game hurt me.
So now we can just restart the play without anything happening. We can just do that now.
that's Giannis's rule. Apparently, he said no. I don't
Giannis
foul
rule.
out.
The Giannis rule. Let's start it.
Unreal. I don't really have too much more to say about the NBA. I think I'm really looking forward to the playoffs, though. I'm
How many
loving.
games before the playoffs? Left?
Looking forward to the Western the first round of the East.
I think four
Four.
for like each team because I think they played 8 since they started, and I think most teams have played 4 right now.
What's going to be the point in watching the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs?
None. Any year? What is the point of
We
watching?
talk
the
about
first
this
round?
every time. There's no point.
It's like every 2-3
Do I
years.
want to watch the Brooklyn Nets play the Milwaukee Bucks?
No. Every 2-3 years, maybe you get a good 4 or 5 matchup that'll go 6-7 games, and that's about it.
yeah.
So it's gonna be be Bucks sweeping the 8 seed. It's gonna be the Raptors sweeping the 7 seed, and it's gonna be the Celtics sweeping the 6 seed.
Yeah.
That's all we have to look
Celtics
forward to
probably
for the
versus
East.
Sixers, right?
And then the Pacers and
The
the
Sixers don't stand a chance.
And then the
Especially if Ben
oh yeah,
Simmons'
they've
knees
already
need
played
him.
each other in the playoffs a handful of times in the past few years, and the Celtics just take care of business with them every single time.
Every time. They had no answer for 4'5" Isaiah Thomas.
No.
They're not gonna have any answer for Jalen Tate.
What's Ben Simmons
Jaylen
going to
Brown.
You're
do?
close. You're
Jason
very close.
Tatum.
There you go.
Holy shit. Kemba Walker. They don't have
What's
any,
Simmons going to do? Go score 1 in a playoff?
He's
game
not gonna
again?
play.
He's got a bum
He's
knee.
done.
He's not gonna play.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
really think he's done, and I think it's just Joel's team. And
I mean, he sucks anyway. So
Joel
no,
Ben Simmons.
Joel losing.
That's a hot take. That really is a hot take.
What? That you said what?
Ben Simmons sucks.
No. I'm not saying that he really sucks, but
here's
he's
the
not. He's just not
mind-boggling
that
thing
good.
about Ben Simmons, right? I think Ben Simmons is very mediocre and he's very overrated.
Maybe one of the least aggressive players I've seen.
If I go on Twitter and the dude is trending because he made a 3-pointer as a professional basketball player, he's garbage. Like he's overrated.
Why doesn't he take them? Like, what is the problem?
Why doesn't he take any shots
Someone
with
said
how
it was
big
like
of his
something with
body?
his psyche. Like he just won't do it.
I believe it. Some people are just soft.
He's
soft.
He's
he's a point guard in the NBA and he won't shoot a 3.
just not aggressive at all.
That's what I was saying about Ben Simmons. Why do people say he's so fucking good? Okay, he got Rookie of the Year when he wasn't a rookie. Hate that.
And Donovan Mitchell had a better season anyway.
Whatever.
Doesn't
Then
matter
when I-
with the
then-
You've
whole
been mad
shit.
since that moment. Since that moment, you've hated Ben Simmons.
Yes. You figured me out. Yes.
I haven't liked him
I
since
was
he
like,
came
what
into
is
the
the
league?"
hype around this guy? What is the hype around this guy, bro? He drives the lane, kicks it, someone makes a 3, he gets an assist, drives the lane, gets a layup, gets fouled, gets free throws.
No, but it's a miracle if he drives and
fucking
takes a layup.
shoot. He can't shoot.
He can't even shoot a mid-range shot.
Like,
And
have
you
ever seen him
said
shoot
you
a
said he
3?
drives to the lane,
the
makes a
fucking
layup.
4 that he's taken.
It's a miracle if he takes a shot inside the paint, even if he's one-on-one with someone shorter than him.
He needs a new
Kicks
team.
it out every time.
He
I
needs
just
a new
think
team
he's
so badly.
He's severely overrated. Is my
They got to get. You know what? The Sixers got to get Brett
I
Brown
don't
out of
think
there
it's that
too.
hot of a take.
Ben Simmons for T.J. Warren.
Sure.
Anyone?
It's Ben Simmons
sure.
for anyone. Get him out of there. Like, if I'm a Sixers fan, I'm like, get him out of here.
And you know what? Dumb organizations will see that name, like if they're shopping him, be like, "Yeah, let's get Ben Simmons." And the Sixers will be like, "All right, give me 3 of your best players." And
Send him to the Knicks. The Knicks will take him.
Oh, the Knicks would 100% take Ben Simmons.
That's such a Knicks
They'd
player.
be like, "Ooh, a shiny name. Let's take him."
Ugh.
And we'll go
Another hot take is like
30
that
and
team,
52
like,
again.
Like that team is just a bunch of misfit toys to me.
Yeah. Well, when Elton Brand is your GM, then that's kind of a problem.
Why is Brett Brown still the coach too? Like, I get they were so like the teams were so bad like for those few years where they were winning.
wanna
like,
know
10
what I
games
hear
a season. So obviously, that's not all on Brett Brown. So I get it. You gave him a chance while he had this
Yes.
like talented team, and it just hasn't gone anywhere.
That is literally the excuse every time I hear, why do they keep Brett Brown? Oh, well, he was there when they were bad, so now that they're good, they can't just get rid of him. It's like, no.
They gave him his shot, and it's over.
This is how it works. Like, they're bad, you fire him. That's how it works. And then you find a new coach.
Aw.
What you're telling me is that, like, you're bringing personal feelings into it.
You're literally giving him a participation trophy for, like, the years that he was there.
Yeah, they're
when
like,
they
I
were
mean,
bad.
he's been here for us when they were bad.
Who
It's
gives
like,
a shit?
He's had his 50 game or 50 win seasons,
like,
but
holy
they're
shit,
not
you're
getting
still
anywhere.
fucking bad. You're still bad.
Your ass.
Your ass. With the roster that you have and you're a 6 seed, you have a point guard who can't shoot a 3.
But like the Sixers rosters, the one this year isn't as close to being as good as it was the year before. Redick's gone. They don't have Butler. Butler was.
Now, the 2 years ago, they were really good. They had Bob Covington. They had Simmons,
they were
had,
so good.
They had
I still didn't think they were like close to like championship contenders, but that was a damn good roster.
They had another
and they should
guy
have
that
done
was-
more with it.
They had another guy that came off their bench that was really good, and I can't think of who it was. But they were good that year.
They were very good.
That was the year that they played the Celtics, but then the Celtics mopped them,
Mm-hmm.
and then they ended up losing to Cleveland in the conference finals. I'm being dead serious. I don't even want to talk about the MLB. I have nothing good to say about the MLB.
No,
It is so
the
fucking.
The Yankees have been rolling over everyone.
That's all it is.
With no
It is
remorse.
the Yankees steamrolling everyone, and it is teams just not scoring. Every night, every game ends.
It's boring.
4-2, 3-2, 5-1, 4-1. Like, it is just the pitchers are so far ahead of the hitters right now, and there are no fans. Makes it impossible to watch.
And they've already had an outbreak of corona.
They've had 3.
And they
Yeah,
basically
you
just
look-
said the Marlins, they were like, no, we're just going to play without you. Sorry.
Well, yeah, you look at some of these teams' records right now. You see teams that are like that have played like 13 games, 10 games. But then there's some teams who have played 5.
Yeah.
Like the Cardinals are 2-3. The Marlins are 5-1.
Think from the beginning, the MLB has handled this whole thing very poorly. And
Well, when you have the worst commissioner in all of pro sports, then that's the reason
and
why.
the franchises
on top
needed
of that, like the game isn't exciting to begin with. Like we always talk about baseball being like you have to experience it in person, like to get the full experience of baseball.
I mean, I love it no
Watching
matter
on
what,
TV
and I've been watching it. But
watching TV is good, like if you're a fan of baseball, but like at the same time, it's not bringing new people in. That's the whole thing. You got to bring new people in. It's difficult to do when you don't have fans.
They are losing fans right now, I can promise you. Because
this runner on second in extra inning shit,
awful,
horrible.
awful.
What the fuck
it's
is
like
that?
If you hit, what is it? If you hit
I like when I
pop
see games
fly
go
or,
to
like what is it?
15
What's the
innings.
new rule?
You start with a runner on second base with no outs in the extra innings every
Yeah,
inning.
no, that is the dumbest thing I think ever.
Horrible.
No
What
one
is
asked
that?
for that. No one asked for that.
This wasn't even like a Corona thing, too, right? They
No,
were going to
no,
put that.
that-
in.
this is like
That's
a-
the
You
worst
know what
thing
I
I've
want?
ever seen.
You know what I want? I want a real pitch clock. That would definitely help speed up the game.
Keep hitters in the box too. You see Judge; he doesn't step out of the box.
I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what would help baseball right now. Other than a pitch clock, I can't even.
Whatever they're not
and
doing
that's not even
will help
Corona
baseball.
stuff. That's just to help baseball in general.
Having pitchers have like a set amount of batters that they need to like face. That's not fixing.
The
anything.
MLB makes me so mad. It's like they should be so much better of a sport.
it's
than
like
they
it's
are.
just right in front of them, and they're just like, nah. I'm gonna
Nah,
do it.
we're
Exactly.
gonna do something else.
It's like, yo, you should add a pitch clock. It would help.
You're
speed up the
pissing
game.
off-
Oh, you
we're
want a
just gonna
runner on
put
second
We're gonna
base?
put a free runner on second base in extra innings that no one asked.
They're
no one
pissing
cares
off
about.
their diehard fans that they already have, and that
they're
they're
not
always
bringing
going to
new
have, and they're
fans.
not bringing in anyone.
They're pissing off their loyal fan base, plus pissing off anyone who would watch the sport.
The thing about baseball is it solely runs on nostalgia. Because like you get the dads that are like, oh, we played baseball, we loved baseball when we grow up, like that's gonna wither out. Like they have to bring in new fans and make the younger people want to play baseball.
We are their target market, and I mean, I don't know about you, Antonio, but they're saying that we don't want any part of them at all.
No, at
At least right now. Like maybe when fans come back, it might be a little bit better. As of right now, I can't do it. I just can't.
and like fans aren't coming back this year. Who knows what's gonna happen next year? It's just like they're not doing anything to help themselves. Now, granted, in their defense, they can't really do much they can't do much more, is what I'm saying. Like, what are things that they could do to reach out to the younger people?
Shorter games, like make it a 7-inning game. Why does it have to be 9? Like just because baseball is baseball.
And they're so
Yes.
rooted in their
Because
history and
baseball's
everything, like they're never gonna change.
They'll never
shit
change
like that.
anything like that. It's like a 7-inning baseball
Like,
game.
look at what happened with hockey. They said overtime, they're like, 4v4 isn't really working. They made it 3v3 in overtime.
And it's
And
horny.
it worked, and people love it.
3v3 overtime is intense. Like, that
It
is
is.
something
It's
that
wild.
everybody loves.
But they didn't change it in the playoffs, which I also enjoy, because the playoffs you shouldn't do it, because like
It's just way too, like, there's too much
they
variance.
don't want people to win that way. They
Yes.
just want an old fashioned
Straight
win.
up.
Like, yeah, and people get that and they accept that. They don't say like, oh, it's boring. They play regular for the whole time. But in the regular season, they went and they changed and they adapted. Baseball, like, I think it's hard for baseball to do that with the way it is.
They're just stubborn.
The way the game is, there's stubbornness to it as well, and they're so rooted in what baseball is and its history.
We just need a new commissioner, because Goodell was the guy for years that everyone would beat up on, and then all of a sudden,
Now it's Manfred.
yeah, and Manfred's been around for like a while, but then this past year he's just risen from
each
the
commissioner
ashes.
gets his round. Like they all get the round.
Adam
They get
Silver's
shit.
been
Adam Silver
really
has
good.
not gotten his round yet.
Not yet.
David Stern had his round quite a few
Quite
times.
often.
Yes, quite a few times.
Can we, before we move on to anything else, can we talk about how Joe Kelly went from one of my like most hated players in baseball to like one of my
One
favorite?
of my most loved. Yes.
He literally did but a pitcher. That pitcher was just
that's dude, that's the it's awesome, because that's some shit that would happen in like a high school game that I played in. Like, a kid would get pissed and like someone would look at him and like, oh, you gonna cry about it?
Oh, you gonna cry?
He
Carlos-
just comes
yeah.
off the field and just was like,
Carlos Correa is a pussy. He's a little bitch. So
and
is
then
Altuve.
MLB made themselves look worse and suspended him 8 games.
I cannot believe how long they got suspended for.
That's
games.
that's 22 games in a 162 game season.
Exactly.
That's
You can't-
wild.
You can't think of it as 8 games. You got to think of it as an 8 games in 60 games. Like,
Yeah, you gotta think, what would it be if it wasn't regular season?
that's
182.
that was atrocious.
He didn't even
by
hit
that
anyone. He didn't hit anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He got thrown from the game too, right?
Yeah, and he intentionally threw
I don't know.
at
I don't think
somebody.
he got thrown out of the
He
game.
just got pulled.
The inning ended.
I didn't know if the inning ended
Yeah,
or he got
it
thrown.
was a strikeout that
But-
he ended the inning.
Oh,
on.
okay. So I thought, regardless.
He intentionally threw at him. He intentionally threw at him. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. He didn't fight him.
Stole a World Series.
Yeah, went and said pretty much.
And
Like,
got 8 games for it.
8 games.
Carlos Correa is such a pussy,
Fuck
dude. I loved
off.
him so much when he
You
came
hear,
up.
you hear the Dodgers announcers during the game, they were like, oh, you must have been destined there. And then the other guy was like, oh, destining's better than knowing, huh?
Yeah, and I saw on Twitter and everything.
Altuve's batting like 167
Altuve,
since
Altuve
the
struck
start.
out, and it's like,
Bregman's
it's kinda
hitting
hard
like
when you don't know
shit.
what's coming.
Springer's hitting like shit.
Dude, honestly, the no fans helped them the most. Because imagine if they had to
It
go-
is, but they're not. They haven't been impressive. They don't have much pitching either.
Oh, no, I'm not even saying they've been good.
saying for their psyche.
For them.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
For them, yeah.
Imagine them going into like the Dodger Stadium and listening to the Dodgers fans, or Yankee Stadium.
I
and
was
listening
gonna
to
go
the
to that
Yankees.
game. That was supposed to happen in September.
Everyone would be like, I fucking hate you. You're a bitch.
No, they would. There would be a couple games that they'd have to like postpone probably because like the fans would get too rowdy.
They literally would get. They would start throwing beers on the field.
Yes, they
probably.
would.
100%.
Absolutely.
It's every time I like see Correa now, I think of that like clip where he says, "If you don't know the facts, then you need to shut the fuck up." I'm like, but we do know the facts.
We know all of the facts, and you were probably also wearing a wire on your
Yeah.
chest too that told you exactly what pitch is coming. So that's
Yeah,
good.
no, like that's just incredible to me that they got nothing for that. And then Joe Kelly intentionally throws and somebody doesn't hit him and gets 8 games.
Yeah, I mean the
They
commissioner
made
gave the
themselves look
players
so much worse.
Yeah,
Totally.
the commissioner gave the players immunity, which like I get. Like right now, that's kind of like an argument people are saying with the Joe Kelly thing. Like, oh, how do you suspend him but not the Astros players? But they shouldn't have got an immunity for this.
No,
That's
not
the
at
thing.
all. So totally off topic, but I was at work today doing nothing like I always do,
Right.
and I was on YouTube.
Right.
Apparently, North Korea in the 2010 World Cup had electronic devices in all of their players' ears, and they were invisible, and their manager could literally talk to them while they were on the field.
What, North Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah, they also told like every time they go to a
I
World
don't get
Cup
how that helps.
in their
It
country,
doesn't
they
really help,
they
though.
tell
It
their
doesn't
people
really
that they
help,
win
but
every
I was like,
single game.
I saw that, and I was like, that's the Astros before the Astros. Like, that's kind of crazy. It's not like the Astros were modeling after North Korea, but
No.
I just like,
and,
I thought
and
that was crazy.
Those Koreans,
and
dude.
There's definitely shit going on that we still don't know about. Like, there's definitely more
Oh,
cheating going
yeah.
on.
Dude, soccer, those Koreans are cheaters, dude.
No. Soccer is the most like cheated sport.
The South
Like, they
Korea, the
love
South
that.
Korean World Cup, that shit
Refs
was Italy
fixing
and Germany.
games.
That was dirty.
You talk about shit being rigged. Soccer's the most rigged.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I don't even want to go near a Mexican soccer.
Oh yeah,
game
no, like
or,
that Juventus and Real Madrid game years ago where Juventus came back. That Ronaldo penalty,
3-3.
the most bullshit
Oh
thing
my God,
I've
dude.
ever
Like,
seen in my life.
No, they love doing that, and they make it obvious too. They don't give a shit. They don't care.
Juventus was about to go through.
It's all for show. It is all
It's
for
all
show.
one pageantry.
They were like, "Oh,
Soccer is
dramatic
pageantry.
Ronaldo penalty. He didn't get touched."
It's crazy.
That I don't like to think about that.
Hockey.
Hunky?
Love it.
Bruins are looking not great.
No, they're
Bruins are
not.
looking
They
not
got
great.
fucked by this round robin thing.
The round
Yes,
robin thing,
okay.
which I didn't like
They
from the
can't-
beginning.
they
so
can't
I'm,
get the
I'm
top
not
seed
going
now.
back on my thing because I hated it from the beginning. I was like, the Bruins are gonna get fucked out of this.
Incoming Nolan rant.
No, if you go back to that
him
episode
go.
where
He's
we
got
were
points.
talking about the new playoff format, I was like, you know who's gonna get fucked the most? The Bruins.
And what's happening?
The Bruins are getting fucked because it's like they won the President's Trophy, had a 100-point season,
Far and away the best team in hockey during
were
the
8
regular
points
season.
ahead of the next team behind them. They have nothing to show for it now.
You know what their reward for winning the most points in the regular season is?
Not getting the 1 seed.
Probably playing Pittsburgh.
Probably playing Pittsburgh. I think Montreal wins that series, but that's just me. And if they play Montreal,
Whatever, we get to
it's
beat
still
the
going to be
shit
a
out of
tough series
Montreal.
for him. Like Carey Price could go insane and not let anything in. That's just how Carey Price is.
He loves that.
But yeah, they got fucked. They got fucked by this whole
But
thing.
in the event that, like I say, they do end up playing the Penguins, and like just say everything just clicks again, and we just beat the
I
shit
think
out of the
they'd rape
Penguins.
the Penguins either. They would.
Actually, yeah, the Islanders swept them last year, so that's
I
that
would
was-
not want.
that was
so. I
awesome.
hope that
Oh,
they
yeah,
don't get the third.
there's
seed.
that too.
I hope that they don't get the third seed and play the Islanders.
I don't
I do
want
not
that.
want them to play the Islanders. Holy shit.
You've been steady saying that.
Yeah, because the Islanders are a scary good team to me. They're like no one really like knows. Like they're just like out there and they're like, "Oh, it's the Islanders." No. They're the Islanders, bro. Like
They have been the Islanders for the
defenders,
past couple of years.
good defenders, nice old veteran guys that have been there.
Outstanding coaching.
They have Boychuk on their team who's been on the Bruins, won Stanley Cup. They have a solid goaltender in
I was just
Varlamov.
gonna ask you, do you trust Varlamov? That's the only question I really have, and it's like
I do and I don't. That's the only issue I have with the Islanders. They have good guys up front. They have Cizikas. They have fuck, I'm blanking on his fucking name like I always do. I'll get it.
Survey
Let me
says.
get it. Let me get it.
They do also have hockey's best coach too. That's gonna help.
No, John Tortorella is the best coach.
How dare you?
Claude Julien from the basement's like, maybe me. Everyone's like, no.
Barzal. They have Barzal.
How long did it take them to get him the fuck out of there?
Dude, way too like 3 seasons too many.
Oh yeah, no,
They
literally.
have Barzal, which is like he's like up there in like category of like top player in the league. But yeah, no, they play defensive. And the only issue I have with them is that they play not to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone gets ahead on them, then it's like, oh shit, what do we do now? And that's what happened the other night when Florida beat them. Florida got ahead quickly, and then they're like, oh, what do we do now? We have to come out of our shell. So it's like they're parking the bus almost.
They love that.
So they play a defensive game. Also, it would be a very boring series to watch with the Bruins. Like it would just be boring games. It would just be boring games. It would probably go 7 games.
I mean, I think any series that Boston plays, like the first series, I think it goes 6 or 7. I think
So that's
I think
just what ends up
I think
happening
they're
to
gonna
the
be knocking
Bruins
the
in the
rust off
playoffs
I
all
think
the time.
I think regardless of opponent, I think whether it's Pittsburgh or Montreal, I think they play a very long, hard, contested series. I don't see one team or the other team.
Yeah, because right now
guess
to me, Bergeron is looking rusty. Marchand looking very rusty. Pasta still looks good. Pasta will always look good. Chara's slow as shit as always.
They're just not as like.
He looked really slow
Bro,
yesterday.
And here's the thing to me. Here's the most shocking thing to me is that if they don't win the cup this year, he's still not retiring. Like the only way he's gone next year is if
They win the cup.
But yeah, the Bruins offense. Just watching that yesterday, they just weren't playing with any type of
You know what I
urgency
just-
or aggressiveness.
You know what
at
I
all.
just thought of? Imagine how weird it's gonna be when they're presenting the trophy, and everyone's like, yeah, and then there's just no fans in the crowd. Like,
Yeah, it will be really weird.
that's just like, imagine watching that in fucking 20 years from now.
I mean, it'll be like when the away team wins it. It's like it's just awkward.
No,
and
it's
shit.
not even
it's
that
not,
bad.
It still won't
No,
be the
it's
same. Like
It'll be quiet as shit.
even like when the Capitals won in Vegas, it was still like the crowd was into it, and there were plenty of Capitals fans there. And you're just not gonna have a moment like that.
no,
It'll
be
obviously
way different.
like you're still gonna be stoked as a player if you win the championship, but it's not the same as having
holy shit,
your
like,
fan base behind
baseball. Think about when they win the World Series.
yeah.
Like when they win the World
When the
Series.
Yankees win in 4 games, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, Yankees, good job.
Yeah, when the Yankees go like fucking
you 45 and 15.
Yeah, 45 and 15, and they rout everyone like the Red Sox did.
It
in
is just
2018.
so obvious the Yankees are winning the World Series. It is just so blatantly obvious. Like,
I still think they'll find a way to fuck it up though.
if they do,
I think they're way better than the Dodgers too.
they don't lose. If they don't make the World Series, that is a failure.
Oh no,
Yes.
it's a failure if they don't win it, dude.
Absolutely.
If you get there and lose it, I'm not saying that's okay, but at least you lost in the World Series. If you do not get
Yeah,
there
no, if
with,
they don't get it, it's a problem.
with
we
that
got a
team,
problem.
that is a problem. Because who in the American League are they facing realistically that can beat them?
Nobody.
The Twins? No.
Nobody. Brewers?
No.
No.
They're in the National League.
Astros aren't even
sorry.
looking like they're going to win their division.
Astros,
the A's,
no.
the A's
Tampa
are the best
Bay,
over there.
no.
Tampa Bay maybe.
Tampa Bay's the only team that I could give a shot
Maybe.
to draw it out.
They hate playing Tampa Bay.
They do.
But they love playing teams like Oakland or Minnesota.
When Tampa gets into a playoff series, too, they just show all the time they get scrappy.
they love
no
it.
matter who they play, they're taking them to the final out.
They love like
Same thing with Houston last year. They went 5 with Houston.
they love like stolen base, pop fly. Like
Yeah,
they just
and,
love that.
You know, all their guys hit 270 and hit 25 home runs. And they all pitch.
Literally.
They have the best pitching development I've in baseball for the last 15 years. I think that's without a question.
Yeah, I agree. So back to hockey.
Yes.
Who do we like?
Yeah, how did that happen? Or we just got
I don't
back
know.
into
I said
baseball a little bit.
I said Yankees, and then I was just like, all right, they're winning. Like, who's beating them?
Who's beating them?
I don't know. I think the Flyers look like a serious problem, and I know it's just the round robin games, and I don't know how serious everyone is taking everything.
But I think they've been taking it most serious.
But at the same time, it's like they look really good.
Yeah, I mean, because the Lightning did not look good against the Caps, but the Caps equally didn't look as good, so that game was sloppy. Mm-hmm. The Flyers in both round robin games they've played have looked really good.
You know, I love a good storyline. Clefbaum having cancer at the beginning of the year. I could see that. I could see them winning it for sure.
Yeah.
I could see Tampa Bay coming out of the East. I could see.
How do we feel about the Avalanche?
Oh, love that.
He loves the Avalanche.
Before the season started, I said Avalanche Lightning, and I think that looks great. Like really, really good right now.
Right now, I think I'm going with Avalanche and Capitals. Those are my two.
It's a good choice. Yeah, because
Washington. You said dog earlier. Washington's got dog in them.
Yes.
And they used to not. They used to be the softest team. But whatever.
the only issue I have with Washington is that they rely a lot on the home crowd, and they're not going to have that.
Yeah, but I feel like with this bubble thing, they know how to grind it out. There's so much more experience than all these other teams.
There are teams where I really hate being like. Obviously, like you want to be up in a game. I like really shit my pants being up a goal against some teams. Washington is one of them because when they're 6-on-5,
Lightning is that team.
Lightning is also that team. But when they're 6-on-5, bro,
They could put 2 in the net in about
so
a minute
quick,
and a half.
not even in like 30 seconds.
And then
they're
you're
two
down.
goals, and then you're down one.
Yeah.
Like it is. They are just a problem. They are a problem for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't know if they can end up playing Pittsburgh, but if they end up playing Pittsburgh, I think that's a team that can beat.
Yeah, just because of how unsure we are right now
Washington.
with like some of these Eastern
'Cause they
teams in
lost
hockey.
today. If the Bruins beat the Capitals on Sunday,
Then they play the 5-12.
they play the Caps play the 5-12.
Yeah, with how not good the Bruins are looking right now, and kind of the uncertainty with some of these teams out here in the East, I think the Capitals are just the safest bet to get to the final right now.
I don't know.
You're right about the Lightning too.
I could say any of those 4 teams in the round robin. I don't see any of the 5 through 12 Eastern Conference teams.
Yeah,
making
these
it, but
I'm good with the Leafs. I'm all
set with the Leafs. I'm also all set with the Blue Jackets.
I want the Leafs
I'm
lose
good with
to
the Blue
Columbus
Jackets, too.
so bad. Like, I don't think you understand. I want them to lose, like, just because Toronto would burn their city to the ground. Toronto would absolutely riot and burn the streets, and they would want Toronto out of there. They'd want their team out of there. They'd want everyone fired. They would be anarchy if Toronto loses to the Blue Jackets.
But honestly, they should because of how it's just. I mean, fuck the Leafs.
Yes, they should win. Like, yes, the Leafs should kill them.
This is like what you said. Like, Yankees
Tavares,
World
man,
Series
like-
or bust. Toronto with this roster, it's Stanley Cup final or bust for them.
And it
That's
has been,
crazy.
and it
That's
has
crazy
been since
because
they got Tavares.
That's crazy because like literally they're not making the Stanley Cup at all.
No,
Like,
everyone
at all.
knows that.
Tavares,
They just
Marner,
don't.
Matthews. They got Riley on the back. They got they just lost Muzzin. The only thing is like Anderson. Anderson's so bad.
Yeah, it's funny because
He's so bad in the playoffs.
See,
every
the
hockey,
thing I hate about Anderson is one game you watch him and he is just a barn door. He lets everything in and out. There are some games where he is a steel wall and he does not let.
There
it
was
go.
He's
one-
very inconsistent, and
'Cause
that's his issue.
them and the Bruins have played each other so many times in the first round the past 2 years. But I want to say it was 3 years ago was when. And the series ended up going 7. The Bruins ended up going up 3-1. But in those 3 games, the Bruins scored like 7 goals each game. It was ridiculous how much Freddie Anderson was letting in. But every hockey fan knows how insane Toronto's roster is, but no one cares. No one gives a shit. Nobody thinks they're going anywhere.
It's just like I don't know. I could go on and on about how Toronto just is. I'm trying to think of like a good comparison for.
Yeah,
Toronto.
it's funny
The
though because
Houston
their fans are
Rockets
annoying.
has
and-
always been my comparison to them.
I just don't think Houston's as hyped. Like Toronto seems more hyped than Houston.
yes.
Well, because the Toronto
give me-
media is so like built up on them.
Keep talking. I need to really think. I'm gonna come up with a good one.
I think a team coming out of the West that's a problem is the Coyotes. Like they're gonna beat the Preds. They're a problem. Like there's one of those teams where it looked like they didn't have a shot before this whole 2014 thing, and they are taking so advantage of it. They have Kemper and Net, who is a very underrated, very good goalie who could prove himself. They have Taylor Hall, Phil Kessel.
I love the Coyotes.
Like
I love watching the Coyotes.
They have such a good roster. Ekman Larson is one of the best defensemen in the league. No, they have a really good rounded roster.
Before we continue, I would say Toronto is like the Yankees of the last 10 years. I think that is a really good comparison. The Yankees hype up their team. They then lose in the playoffs. Like they get to a certain point and then they just shit the
last
bed.
10,
Not like their full franchise, but like the last 10 years, the hype machine on the Yankees is like the same on Toronto, and they both just shit the bed. in
there's
the
a few
playoffs.
years with the Yankees though, where
and
like
then-
they didn't have
'cause
that
then
kind
you
of
look at, like,
expectation.
They get the big name guy, like they got Tavares. Then they're like, okay, you have Tavares, you better win now.
And then
they got the same result. They lost in 7 to the Bruins. You look at how far the Yankees got last year, and then it's like, okay, you got Garrett Cole. Like you better do something here. Like you wanted pitching, you got pitching. Now what?
now.
But it's a bunch
to show it.
It's a bunch of like I could ramble about like Yankees trades for the past 2 years on and on, but what was the point in J Happ?
You hate J Happ.
I hate that man so much, and he sucks every time he goes out there. What was that year? They were looking for the pitcher to put him over the edge. Was a 4.5 ERA putting you over the edge? 4.5 for the last 2 years. I don't care what his record is. When you're giving up runs, that's just not good. You could have pulled up some guy from the minors who could have had maybe even a better ERA, like still a 4 ERA, but not as bad as Happ. He sucks. He's not good.
That's the stupidest roll I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It bounced off his shin and went on.
Yeah, that's stupid.
So
Like,
you like the Yotes as a dark horse?
Yes, very much so. Like, because Preds are very disappointing. They don't have the team that they used to.
The Preds are like the Preds.
They don't even have like Pecorine isn't as good as he used to. It's a Fleury and Matt Murray thing, and like what happened in Pittsburgh. Saros is going to take Pecorine's spot, and Pecorine is going to have to go somewhere else. That's how it works in Nashville. So they've missed their window. They got to the final. What was it in
15?
Yeah, one of those years. That was their shot.
One of those stupid
me,
Penguins
at least.
years.
16. Yeah, one of the Penguins years.
They've only lost people. They haven't gained anything. Saros is a good goalie for the future, but they have to build something there. They have Roman Josi, who's one of the. I think he's the finalist for best. Is he Selke Award? I don't remember, but
Yossi is really good.
he's very good. Yeah, they just need that. They need that star forward So McDavid going to Nashville would be pretty cool.
Ooh.
Another thing that we talked about is like so Chicago's up 2-1 on the Edmonton Oilers. I saw it coming because like the Blackhawks have way more experience, obviously, and experience trumps everything. But the Oilers are just like another very disappointing team. When you have two of the best forwards in the league,
how many
and
years do you
still
need to get the
can't win.
first overall pick too? Like, come on.
I don't know when that is, but especially now the Rangers might have a shot at the.
No,
first
I'm just
pick
saying
now
like the
that they
past few
lost.
years, like having the first overall pick like every year. The Oilers.
You want to talk about the Rangers getting better? If they end up getting the first pick, people will be pissed because of what they've had this year, and they have Panarin. It's like holy shit.
If Kako hasn't played that good, right?
Yeah, he's good. He's finding his. He's still a young guy.
It's his first year.
Still a young guy. They have Zuccarello, Buchnevich.
Yeah, they did a good team. They just
good
got
team.
Well, part of their
Igor Shesterkin.
I was just gonna say part of their problem
Came
was
from
they had
nowhere.
to play King Henry for the first two games, and that's
I
what
think
screwed them.
I think totally. Like, why can they not play Igor again?
He said he was out.
They never
specified
why.
what his injury was, but then he came back game 3.
But that sucks because it's like, yeah, people want to see Lundqvist because Lundqvist is at the end of his rope here.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to see him have one last shot at it, but Igor Shesterkin is the guy. He's the guy. He's a machine. I watched him play. He played for Hartford for most of the year. He does not let anything in.
He also
he never lets a puck in the net. Like it's crazy.
Do you see him like clear pucks and pass pucks to people? He will full rank like go and pass a puck.
Yeah,
to, like,
he's an aggressive goalie.
Stretch pass to like a forward.
He's an aggressive goalie. He comes off his line a lot. Like he's outside the blue paint a lot. Like he is a very aggressive goalie.
He's gonna be good,
and he's good at it. So like, yeah, they have some young pieces. You talk about teams that are gonna be really good in the future. Rangers. Holy shit!
That was a nice quick rebuild for them too.
Quick rebuild, and then they got
take too long.
Panarin, and it was like, let's go.
It's time to fly.
We're cooking here. Let's go. They got Zuccarello. We're good.
You still like Vegas in the West?
Still like Vegas, just for the fact that they're like a very workhorse team. They're kind of like Tampa Bay. Like Tampa Bay is like very workhorse, blue collar team, down and dirty. Vegas, like, and the thing about Vegas too, like what you just said, they can score 5 goals in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
they are very like
they can win either way. They can win high scoring or low.
Yeah,
scoring.
they're very exciting to watch too, and it's just like, and then you have Fleury back there who has the most experience a goalie can have in the playoffs.
A Colorado and Vegas playoff series would be incredible.
I could see that.
It'd be
that
that
could
would be the
Western
best
Conference
series
Finals.
out of the West. That would be the best series to watch. That I could definitely see that being the final. for the
Those
Western
games would be.
I could too.
Those
And you
games
know
would be 5-4 every night.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Like I
like
said,
6-5.
Yeah.
even though I did
5-4.
just
Let's
pick
go.
the Avalanche, I don't. If those two teams were to play in a series, I might go Vegas.
Another team that's very disappointing to me is Dallas. They've
Yes.
been very disappointing.
Big
Ben
time.
Bishop.
Yeah, I was just
in the
gonna say,
recent
I
round
think
robin
Bishop-
games, Ben Bishop has not looked good.
When we were doing this way back, like before the NHL season starts, I think I recall picking Dallas to make the Stanley Cup final.
Well, yeah, that still could happen. They're in the top.
But yeah,
4.
they just haven't been.
They
as
haven't been good. They've been
crazy
like the
good as
Bruins.
we thought they
They've
would
been
be.
the Bruins pretty much. They've just been very disappointing. Have not looked good. It all will tell in that first game when the first round starts. That'll be the like
Telltale
okay,
sign.
yeah, you'll be like, okay, yeah, they suck or they're really good. They figured it out.
I mean, Colorado just looks like a problem. Like
Colorado is a problem.
They played.
Another goalie trying to prove himself is Grubauer for sure.
Well, like we said, Dallas hasn't looked that good, but they played St. Louis really good the other night. Like that game was back and forth, and not like it was high scoring, but like it was like chance at one end, okay, like they would put up a good defensive stand, chance at the other end, defensive stand. Like
Right.
it was just good back and forth hockey, and the fact that Colorado pulled that out, and I know these games don't really matter for anything, but I think that was a huge confidence boost to them. Like beating
Yeah, it's all about building up the momentum.
if they beat Vegas, they go 3-for-3 in the round robin, and then they have top seed, and then they play.
Wait, what do you?
If Colorado wins their next game, they have the number 1 seed. But who do they play?
Canucks and Wild, maybe? I don't remember.
7-10. No, they play
Would it be
5-12.
Yotes and Preds. It might have been Yotes and Preds.
Oh, I don't think they want to play the Coyotes, do they?
No, they don't.
That's not really a reward. I don't know how much I love that.
Are they the 7 and 10? It doesn't fucking tell me on here.
7-10 is Wild Canucks. I can tell you that much for sure because I saw that today.
So 5 and
Holy
12.
It can't.
I don't think the Preds
No,
are-
8-9 is Yotes Preds, so 5-12 is the other match. Edmonton, Chicago. So they'd have to play. No, they would poop on Chicago. That's exactly the kind of team they want to play. Only because they play the exact same way, but Colorado just plays better than them.
Are we just a bunch of salty Bruins fans when it comes to the Blues?
I hate the Blues.
Here's the thing about the Blues to me is like,
They're not good. That's the thing about the Blues. The Blues are not a good hockey team.
thank you. They're not a good hockey team.
You watch them, like I watch them some nights, and I'm like, all
They're
right,
just nothing special. Like, how do they win?
I
we
don't
talked
know.
about this in the regular season. How did they win all those games?
During the regular season, I was like, I should just bet St. Louis every night because literally every single night I would go on my fucking app and they just win. They would win 3-2 every night. They love 3-2 or 3-1.
And my whole thing was, yeah, good luck in the playoffs because you're gonna burn Binnington out. That wipes out everything. Now you got a 4-month break, and now Binnington is brand new. So that's why they're scary to me because they just win regardless. I think Pietrangelo might be out though.
Their team just does not make sense to me. It like makes
Or is
me mad.
Pietrangelo out there right now?
He is.
I thought he was hurt, but
It just makes me mad because they don't score good goals either. It's like they just get in front of the net
no,
and just
they're very grind.
force it in. They just force the puck in.
Yeah, very grind heavy team. That's why I don't want to watch them play Vegas though. Even though this is like an exciting game right now, I don't want to see them do it because Vegas like is just such an exciting team to watch. I want to see them play Colorado. I want to see them play Colorado. I don't want to see the Blues in the Western Conference Final. I don't think they'll make it. I think they get bumped. I think if they end up winning the round robin and they have to play the Coyotes, I think the Coyotes beat them.
Beat the Blues or
Yes.
Vegas? Oh, okay.
Yeah. If Vegas wins the round robin and end up playing the Yotes, I say Yotes give them a fight, but Vegas obviously wins that matchup.
Can the Yotes get to the
Yotes.
final?
Depends on the road to get there. Like if they have to play Vegas in the first round, no. I think they could beat the Blues, but it would all depend who they play after that.
They played the Blues tough in the regular season. I remember watching 2 of their games.
They play everyone tough because nobody takes them seriously. And I think the Blues would go in there slumping. They'd be like, we worked really hard in the round robin. Like, we can kind of coast here.
Why does no one take them seriously?
Because, like, it's
They're
just
just the
Arizona.
Coyotes,
It's just
yeah.
Arizona. Like, people are like, holy shit, you play in Phoenix? You play in the desert? Holy shit, you're not good. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, it's just the team that has never been good. And then, like, they come in and surprise
It's like
you.
the Pacers. No one really
and
takes
then
the Pacers.
They got Taylor Hall. They got Taylor Hall very close to when the league shut down, so no one's really like seen his full potential yet. Taylor Hall is really good at hockey. He's a really good hockey player. Him going to the Yotes, on top of the experience you get with Phil Kessel, two very solid goalies in Ranta and Kimper. Like if Kimper goes down, Ranta would not miss a beat, and if he goes in, that's a very scary thing. That's why I really like the Bruins setup because if Rask goes down, Halak will not miss a beat.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's how they've done it all season. Same with Arizona.
Do you have any sort of I don't know how I'm going to describe this. Do you have any sort of like
Give it to me, Sal. Give it to
let
me.
me process. Do you have any sort of like not likeness towards the no fans and towards the light bubble and towards the like
far-
regarding hockey, because I know how big of a hockey fan you are. Do you feel like it's not authentic? Do you feel like it's not the same? Do you like obviously it's not the same, but do you feel like it's not?
When like the games first started, yes, I actually like was like, wow, this kind of sucks. Like just because like the rush that you get like when you see someone score a really big
And
goal
everyone's like,
in the
yeah,
crowd,
yeah.
like as much as I hated it when the Sharks came back against the Vegas Golden Knights last year, and it was that bullshit call, and they just kept the crowd was the roof
They were
was
going
about to fall off.
crazy.
Like I love seeing that, and you're like, holy shit, like this is a good ass game right now. Without the fans there, it's like holy shit, and then you don't have the announcers there, so everything's a little bit off. Like in
We're
terms of, like,
we're still gonna
latency.
get insane like fast paced in like playoff
Yeah,
hockey
so
play. It's
when
just
after
the
first
buzz
few
of the
games-
arena that's just nonstop just won't.
Right. Yeah.
not gonna be
After
there.
the first few games, I was like, okay, this is growing on me because it's still the same quality sport that
Yeah.
you're getting. It's still the same quality product. So I'm happy with what they've done, and it's like I can bitch and moan about the fans not being there, but it's like
You can't do
I
anything.
don't
Yeah,
have
what are we
any-
gonna do?
I don't have any power in it.
I
so.
didn't know if it really bothered you or if you.
No,
really
it doesn't
were just-
bother me as much as I hate the NBA with the virtual fan shit in the background. It's just distracting.
I don't like the virtual fan shit, but at least they're
I like what they're doing. I like the
they're
attempt.
trying something.
Yeah. I like
I-
the attempt, but
I really like the like background of the
Yes,
court.
I do.
I do too.
So
Yeah.
like they did a very good job of spacing it out, so it looks like there's actually shit going on. Where like obviously there are no fans, but it looks like kind of packed in there. And it's
Yeah.
like you got everyone 6 feet apart on the bench. Like I feel like it just is
It does, but at the same time, you can like tell that it's just like this one small area.
Yeah, and you
but
can tell it's in like a ballroom.
it's kind of
Like,
cool though. I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's kind of cool.
So far I think the NBA is the winner of
Yeah.
the 3 sports coming back, and MLB is easily the loser, and I would say hockey is in the middle.
Yes.
I would say hockey and NBA were right there.
And-
Like,
and-
I don't even
they
think
both
it's-
from
yeah.
the beginning were just like we're playing, we're doing this. They had 0 positive tests when they came back and we're going. They had a 3-phase plan and they executed it perfectly. So I think hockey and NBA won very much so.
And I don't.
Baseball lost.
Good old Rob Manfred.
Yes. I don't want to, because I know we can go on about football for hours, and this is
I
already.
don't know what football is.
This is
gonna
already
do.
close to being like we're 20 or something so minutes out from being a 2-hour podcast, but NFL's got to.
No, we're still good.
We're good. All right. Well, NFL's got to take some note. We got plenty of weeks to talk football because we're still weeks away, but they got to take notes somehow. Obviously, we can't do one bubble because
There are too many people.
40 guys to a roster. It's the same thing with baseball.
No,
There's
53. No, so there's 53 to a roster. Each individual coaching. So like
exactly.
100
There's
people.
so many
offense,
coaches
defense,
too.
special teams, D-line, cornerback, anything.
Impossible.
But name it.
But they-
impossible.
Ping pong coach.
There's something they got to do because they're planning a football season as if it was going to be normal right now.
Regular.
That's just not going to happen. I don't see football happening. As much as it pains me to say, I don't see it happening.
I don't know that I can say that because number one, it's the NFL, and number two, if the MLB is playing, the NFL has to play. That would just be such a bad optic for the NFL not to play.
They need to do something though. They need have 4 hub cities or something like that.
So the other thing I thought about,
And I know with the NFL, they want to keep divisions playing each other, the rotations in keep that wheel going. That it just
And they
can't
just
happen
extended
this year.
their playoff too.
the other thing I thought about, NFL is going to be not putrid without fans, but it's not going to be the same NFL that we watch.
I'm still gonna watch football every week. I can watch 100%. Game.
We're all going to watch football, but it's going to be a different game when it comes back. Like a completely different. Someone's going to run over the middle and get crunched, and you're just going to hear every single bone in their body snap, dude.
That's the other thing. Huddles too.
Yeah.
Other teams can hear you.
I didn't even think about that. You're going to hear. Well, you're not going to hear everything. But
There's not this going on where
Yeah.
you're yelling at the.
That's a great point. So.
They're gonna get.
Well, they're going to hear each other too.
Yeah, it's gonna be very. I think Patriots win in that sense.
Very true.
But now they have 6 people opted out. So, did you like the fact that they were like, "Oh, Belichick has something to do with this"?
I like that they give him the credit.
I like that they just immediately think that.
Yeah.
They just immediately think Belichick's up to no good.
He literally just sits in his lair all day and he just goes like this the whole time.
No, he's like that. He's like the bad guy from Star Wars. Like,
100%. But it's like, obviously,
He's the emperor from Star
obviously
Wars.
the Patriots are not tanking. Like these players just want,
no.
not like just want to sit out, but they are taking precautions to sit out. So I understand it, but at the same time, it might end up working out for them. Like maybe they just start bad this year and they draft a quarterback, or
it's like
I don't know. They're,
I just like if you look at it like just
we have talked about the Patriots multiple times on this podcast. Their season could go any number of ways.
yeah.
And
if you look at it just with no blinders on, it's like they did not get Cam Newton to tank.
fair.
No, that's
If you just look at that just straight up, you're like, okay, they opted out because they wanted to. Mm-hmm. Like not because Belichick did anything, not because Belichick was like, no.
I mean,
guys,
if
you
you
gotta opt out.
If you really want to
Trevor
spin
Lawrence.
zone it, maybe he thinks Cam Newton's really bad, and that's why he signed him.
But then it's like, okay, you think he's really good, so you sign him, and then it's like, oh,
the amount of
we think he's
overthinking
really bad,
that
so we're
everyone does when it comes to Belichick.
Belichick.
That's how smart he is.
Imagine
People
if
are just
Belichick
like,
was just like the stupidest person ever, and
like in a sense, they really do give him too much credit.
way too much. They
sometimes.
give Belichick way too much credit, but at the same time, he's earned it.
yeah,
you
no.
won 6 Super Bowls, you've earned
everyone
it.
views him as like one of the 5 smartest people on the planet.
Spygate, Deflategate, like
On the planet, it's like
Literally.
it's like Elon Musk. Bill
Yeah.
Belichick.
Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Bill.
no, that's hilarious that people thought that though that he was up to something.
Immediately, it's like the Twitter things came
It
out.
was literally the next. It was the same day, I think, that people were like, "Oh, Belichick." must have
Yeah,
something to
immediately
do with
people
this.
are putting up gifs of him in the hood.
Yeah,
like-
It's like that's just what it is now. Like down the road, like isn't there a deadline for people? I thought that was hilarious.
so they tried to move it up. That's the other
they
thing.
moved the deadline where you can opt out. It's like what?
Mhm.
Like I get that they want to get camps started, but it's like
They're like, you better opt in. They're like, you want your money, opt
yeah,
in.
they're almost pressuring the players to make a decision like that.
At that point, I would be even more likely to opt out. I'd be like, if you're really pressuring me, fine, go fuck yourself.
Odell made a dumb comment.
When does Odell not make a dumb
Yeah,
comment?
he does these things to just put himself in the center of topic every once in a while. He says, the owners are only caring about money. That's why we're having a season. They don't care about the players. He's saying that they shouldn't play.
Then why is NBA,
But then
NHL, and MLB
hold
having
on?
a season?
See, Odell says this, saying that there shouldn't be a season, that the owners are greedy, and then he gets asked a question, and the next day he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna play."
Yeah.
So what
Yeah,
what
so
did
it's
that
like,
mean that you
if
said
you're saying
yesterday?
that,
You're
you
just
shouldn't
trying.
play.
You're just trying to get your name back in the news.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
I'm so
Then
happy.
it's-
I'm
'cause
so
then
happy
he
the
found
Giants
out how
got
much
rid of him.
money.
That
He
was
found
such
out
a
how
good
much money
move.
he was missing out of, and then the next day he was like, "No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
Good
Oh,
old,
I'm missing out on 13 mil. No, I'm playing."
good old Odell, who doesn't know any temperature of the room and can never say the right thing at any point. It's like his quarterback, too.
Getting rid of him was such a good move.
I think that Cleveland could be really good. Cleveland's going one of two ways. They're going to be really good or dumpster fire.
This is just deja vu every time.
It's literally going to go one of two ways. That's how Cleveland is every year, though.
No, they've just been bad.
Before the season,
no one or two
before,
ways.
before the season,
Yeah, they
everyone's
had that 8-7-1 season, and they've just been bad.
I don't know. I could see him being good, and I can see him being 3-13.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the 3-13 because it's
Until proven wrong,
I
you're
think
right.
it's 80-20. Right
I
now,
we're talking like episodes ago, but I think I have them with a winning record.
I have them winning the division.
You do.
the Cleveland Browns.
I have the Cleveland Browns winning the division. But I have Baltimore making the Super Bowl.
I have J.K. Dobbins making the rookie.
You
year.
are horny for J.K. Dobbins.
I think he's.
Why
I
not?
think he's one of those guys.
Oh no, I completely understand it. But when Nolan,
Especially with the team
I
that
feel
he's
like
on.
when Nolan gets horny about a player, like they always just are like they fucked that year. Like
Yeah. Well, I'm good at that with hockey, but like football, it was like kind of obvious to me. I was like, dude, he's so fucking good. He was so good at Ohio State.
he was a problem at Ohio
Why?
State.
Why
No.
did he end up falling
Him in
in the
fantasy
Ravens'
drafts,
lap?
like literally the second the draft starts, he's gonna have him in the queue. Like, all right, we're keeping an eye on this guy.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
I'll fucking draft him.
Who do
I'll
you
draft him in
by?
fantasy.
Huh?
Who's he on?
Kansas City. No Damian Williams.
I
Oh my
draft.
God,
I
that's
draft
right.
J.K. Dobbins as like a
Sal,
third
Chiefs
running
running backs.
You take him top 5. I'm not even kidding. In a fantasy draft, you take Edwards-Helaire top 5.
back. Let's go.
Really? No, really.
No. How good is fantasy this year though? With the amount of good players that there are.
I'm literally sitting here rubbing my clit. Like that's what
Let's
I'm doing.
go. Let's go. Circle the wagons. Circle it. I just don't understand how
Chiefs
J.K.
running back.
Dobbins fell to the Ravens.
How do you not draft him? Really? You tell me how you don't draft him.
Oh yeah, no, like literally last year I
Who
was
do you, no.
any draft I was in last year, I'm like, all right, I'm keeping my eye on Damian Williams the entire time.
Who do you take over him? McCaffrey, Barkley. I don't even know that I take Elliott over him.
I was gonna say Elliott's like, I'm
Dalvin. You maybe take Dalvin over him, but like at the same time, Edwards-Helaire can easily finish as the number 1 on that team.
yeah.
That team scores so many.
I'm not
points.
making the same mistake I did last time and getting Alvin Kamara.
Fuck that. I don't. That's just like I know
He
how
was
good.
so
he-
good 2
dude, I
years
know
ago.
how
hate
good he
him.
is,
I
but
hate
like
so good 2 years
when I'm
ago.
drafting in the first round of fantasy, like there's like guys that I just know not to pick, and Alvin's just one of them.
So I don't know what led me to this, but the Falcons Saints game, the night that they got like those 3 onside kicks, it was Thanksgiving night. I had
Saintsgiving.
I had probably like $80 or $90 on Kamara at the first touchdown, right? And it was to win like 400. He gets the ball like 6 times in that drive, right? Like gets it, keeps pounding it, goes down on the 1 yard line, right? Goes down on the 1 yard line. He is in the I formation. I'm like, good, he's gonna get it. They run a Taysom Hill drag all the way around, and he gets it, runs in the
Wide
end zone.
open.
I was like, are you
You know what's
kidding
so
me?
Yeah, but
funny
why
about
wouldn't
that,
they?
Sal?
No,
like, anytime
that is
they-
just so Alvin Kamara and the
Yeah.
New Orleans Saints. It's like he will like get
Oh, yeah,
50
no,
yards
if they're on the
rushing,
1
2
yard-
touchdown.
When Taysom Hill like got there, Alvin Kamara just went down the drain.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
because they're like, we don't need you anymore.
They use Taysom Hill for goal line like plays.
They literally
every
are like
time.
literally every time.
But he's a bigger
You know
body,
what's
so
so
why
funny
not?
about that? I think I remember you telling me that,
I was so pissed that night.
and then I think
Because he cost me a
I had it
fantasy
in a
that week,
pick
too.
three.
Yeah, I
had
get it
in
because
pick
a
three, or,
quarterback-
like we like said one thing that we were gonna like take. I had that in my like pick, and then I remember watching it. and I'm like, oh, Alvin's gonna get it, and then I was like, nope. And I was like, oh, I think Sal had money on that.
Yeah.
It hurt.
Imagine
so
having
bad.
$400
I
for a
say
rushing
it, Sal,
touchdown
you can
taken out
never
of your
put
hands
money
by
on
a
it.
quarterback.
by Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill just running.
If I say it, Sal, you can never put money on it.
Mm-mm.
That's like I'm cursed.
No,
in that
no one
way.
can say it, but as soon as money goes on it, it goes down the shitter. That is
Right.
100% what happens.
Just ask Robert about that. We've been doing that the past few days. I bet $1. It was the Chicago Oilers game. It was going into the third. Robert was like, Robert, you want a $1 bet on which team would win? I let him pick. He didn't even know that Chicago was losing. He picked Chicago. Chicago was losing going into the third period. Chicago ties it up halfway through the third, and then Chicago fucking scores with like a minute 20 something left.
Nolan cannot gamble. Nolan is literally the unluckiest gambler I've ever seen.
I just will never do it.
You're top two. There's a kid I know that might lose more than you,
Yeah.
but you literally anytime you put money on any game, it is just dog shit. It is nope. It just does not happen.
I'll
Nope.
never play blackjack again, honestly. Like,
All right. And final words before this podcast is over. If you go to the casino, do not play blackjack. Blackjack is the worst casino game you
blackjack
can
will
play.
take your pants.
It is. You know what blackjack is called? Give your money to the dealer and walk away.
Blackjack.
Literally.
Blackjack will give you money.
If you just want to lose your money, and then,
Unless you are this kid, do not play blackjack because this is the best kid I've ever seen running blackjack in my years of living.
Jeremy's the best.
Not better than him.
No,
Not
and
better
I'm
than
literally like I see a 15 and I'm like, hey, I don't even think, and it's like, oh, 6.
It'll be 15 against the 6. He goes hit. Everyone at the table is staring at him. 21. It's like, are you kidding me? Then he'll have like 13 against the 10. He'll be like, I don't want a card. Then the dealer flips over a 6 and then a 10. It's like, how do you know? It's like he knows what
No,
cards.
you're weird with shit like that. Yeah, you're still 68. You're 68.
Yeah, no, I just know when
You
things
just give it
are
up,
gonna
man.
happen.
I'm
give
buying
it
you
up.
Skechers for Christmas.
No.
I'm good.
I'm gonna formally request for your birth certificate because I bet it's from 1940.
Were you
I'm just some like aging.
Were you around
miracle.
during the Depression?
I mean, if I was born in 1940, then no, I was not. That would be a.
Yeah,
that would be 1933.
That'd be about 15 years too late.
to 1933. You're
You're 68 years old.
On that note,
I don't like.
I know we're outta
I don't
here.
have a way in denying that. Like, I was born in 2000, but
No, you weren't. Stop.
I am.
you were born 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, 2,000 years ago, maybe. Fucking idiot.